sword. So he can still be saved. Take Link to the Shrine of Resurrection. If you don't get him there immediately, we are going to lose him forever.
Well, that might not actually be the worst thing to happen in this moment. Okay, maybe in the moment it's the only logical thing to do, but allowing Link to die at this very moment may have not been that bad a thing to happen. Now I know, that sounds awful. And no, I am not saying that I want Link to die. Well, I kind of am, but allow me to explain. You see, throughout the majority of the Zelda series, hero after hero named Link is born into the world and destined to save the land. The hero of skies, the hero of time, the hero of twilight, and in this case, the hero of the wild. All of those past Links eventually pass on. Whether to the clutches of evil or natural aging, regardless, they all come to pass and are later reborn into the world. But the hero of the wild essentially cheated his death. I mean, technically speaking, he is like 100 years old when we play as him, but physically still around 17 or 18 years old. And he doesn't exactly have the easiest time after waking up from the Shrine of Resurrection. I mean, ultimately he does save Hyrule with the aid of Zelda in his ear, but if Link had died in this very moment, I believe that there may have been an easier and possibly quicker route to saving Hyrule once again. But before I explain why, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in on social media to get featured right here. And let's now take a look at why Link dying in Breath of the Wild could have been helpful. Firstly, let's quickly recap what actually happened and locate the point of where things could have been different. At the peak of Calamity Ganon's rampage across Hyrule, Princess Zelda and her appointed knight Link were en route to Haytenno Village to seek protection. However, they were caught up within the guardian-infested fields of Blatchery Plain, and this is where Link couldn't take anymore. As he fought off Guardian after Guardian, it wore him down until eventually one more Guardian was too much for the hero. Struggling to stand, unable to protect the princess, the Guardian took its shot, and in this moment, Zelda unlocked her divine abilities and not only blocked the Guardian's beam, but also destroyed it in doing so. However, time was up for the hero, as he collapsed to the ground entirely, and as Zelda held his head, his eyes shut, and the princess began to bawl out with tears. This is where he died 100 years ago. But your boy Link cheated death by being brought to the Shrine of Resurrection, which ensued a 100-year wait, which if any longer, Ganon would have broke free and finished the kingdom off. Link woke up literally just in time, as we know Zelda was beginning to struggle holding Ganon at this point of 100 years later. But let's say the Shrine of Resurrection wasn't on the cards, and that Zelda had no choice here but to leave Link, assuming those Sheikah ninjas, I mean look at them jump, damn, still came along. They could wait with the hero's body and protect it, as Zelda would still, in both scenarios, go to face Ganon alone and successfully hold the beast back. But what happens in this alternate timeline we've just created where Link just dies? Okay, so I should clarify that this theory is partially an idea, partially a theory. A bit of both, which is what makes it work. So yes, there will be some points of creating an alternative timeline of events, and actual factual points. So in this alternative timeline, the hero dies in the fields of Blatchery Plain. Zelda goes and seals Ganon in Hyrule Castle with a threshold of around 100 years of holding, but as the hero is now no more, the nature of the land is that a new hero is to be born. Whilst this is a well-known fact, we don't actually know how long it can take for a new Link to be born, but if we presume, say, 5 years after the Calamity, and around 17 more to grow up, roughly to the same age as the fallen hero was, we now have our newly born hero. Let's call him Link. Just kidding. We'll call him the hero of the new wild. Creative, I know. For reference, this would be around 78 years prior to Zelda no longer being able to hold Ganon. Already, we have more time to take on Calamity Ganon, but not an actual hero. Yet. Sure, he has been born, but in this timeline he would have grown up how many Links do. A simple life such as Twilight Princess Link, who was raised as a farmer and led into the life of a hero. This Link would grow up in Haytenno Village, as we know the original Hero of the Wild did. I mean, this is a pretty traditional upbringing for every hero. Now this would work, as although a new Link is born roughly every 100 years, that is because they all tend to live a longer and fuller life. This Link was only around 17 or 18 years old. He didn't live a full life life yet. It's not written in that a new hero is born every 100 years, such as a Gerudo male being born every 100. Rather, it's just that we'll always have a new hero, presumably after the passing of the current. In this alternate timeline, things are pretty much the same to everyone else. The people of Hyrule suffered from the calamity the same as they would have, and it suddenly stopped the same as they all knew. But just like in the normal events, they don't know why or how the calamity was stopped, just that it stopped. Link doesn't know either. He doesn't know that Zelda is the one holding Calamity Ganon back, and that Calamity Ganon is, well, being held back and not actually gone. He is simply just a countryside boy living in Hateno. For the game to really get underway, you know, following at least a 1 hour long tutorial, looking at you Twilight Princess, after this, one day Link and some of the locals go on a venture to West Necluda to gather supplies from the Julian Peak stable and stay the night. During the night, Link sleeps and has a dream. Well, more a nightmare, which he sees the former Link dying in Blatchery Plain, a location just around the corner, and as he wakes up in a cold sweat, he decides to go for a walk through the quiet fields of Blatchery Plain, and on this walk, he reaches the very point where the former hero passed, and feels a cold breeze blow past him, causing him to turn around. There was nothing. He turns back around, and to his surprise, there stands a spiritual figure resembling himself, the spirit of the hero of the wild. This is where the plot of this alternative timeline starts. Link learns the story of what happened not 100 years ago, but 20 odd years ago, learning how the hero of the wild failed, and that the truth behind the calamity stopping is that the Princess Zelda was actually trapped within in order to hold the horror back. This Link failed, but is here to guide this new Link, and this is exactly where he is dubbed by the former hero himself as the hero of the new wild. But why would this be a good thing compared to the normal events we see? Well, you see, this would already cut back the time a good 70 odd years before Zelda could no longer handle Calamity Ganon, and allows for a new, fresh Link to take on the sealed Calamity, not an overworked and memory-torn Link who cheated death. Now, not only this, but the spirit of the hero of the wild could personally train and teach Link the ways of the hero. This idea was heavily inspired by the Hero's Shade from Twilight Princess. In case you didn't know, the Hero's Shade is actually the spiritual essence of the Hero of Time from Ocarina of Time. He appears throughout the story of Twilight Princess, meeting Link as a wolf who, when approached, enters a spirit realm-like area within the clouds above Hyrule Castle. The Shade uses these small interventions to teach Link hidden skills, unique combat moves only known to the hero. This is quite literally a former Link returning in spirit to train and assist the new Link. And it is crucial that Link learns this, as the move that finishes Ganondorf off in the final battle of the game is the ending blow, a move taught to Link by the Hero's Shade. Without the presence of this past hero, Link would have never been successful. In our theoretical alternate timeline, I believe that interventions like this would work well, but with a lot more depth to them. After that meeting in Blatchery Plain, the spirit would explain that before Link is ready to take out Calamity Ganon and free the princess, he must go through various trials of the hero. This would take the place of the memories that we saw in Breath of the Wild. Instead of 18 memories that Link can recover, this time around we would find the essence of the spirit in 18 different locations and undergo various segments working with the spirit. These would vary from combat and skill lessons to teaching knowledge to this new hero to be, and instead of lasting 1 to 2 minutes like in Twilight Princess, they would be more full 15 to 30 minute segments which make you travel a certain area, and you know what they could all be based on? The past memories and experiences of the fallen hero, using them to teach the new hero. All of these training segments would lead to one final trial, drawing the Master Sword. Now, I should say that stuff like the Divine Beast quest would still happen just through the guidance of the spirit, telling Link to seek out certain people, and whilst not being the exact same hero, he does hold a strong resemblance, convincing the people of each race to allow Link and taking them on. Obviously the storylines here would vary a little, but we don't need to get into that. But when he gets to his final trial with the spirit, he makes his way through the Lost Woods alone, testing his inner courage and will to locate the Blade of Evil's Bane, and when he does find it, he is ready to face Calamity Ganon, and when he does, he slays the malicious monster with pride and saves Hyrule and Princess Zelda, just like the hero of the wild was supposed to. The timeline of events that we saw in Breath of the Wild were harsh for both the hero and Princess Zelda, and were ultimately a huge risk. For example, putting Link in the Shrine of Resurrection was a huge risk. It was completely untested, but somehow Link cheated death, which was a decision made by the princess herself, and technically speaking, almost cost the entire kingdom of Hyrule again. He woke up just in time. Obviously, the large majority of this quote theory is based on theoretical scenarios and does sway more on the side of being an idea, but if all was to fit, then Link dying in Breath of the Wild would have been so helpful for the kingdom, as it would A, bring Calamity Ganon down roughly 70 years sooner than it did happen in Breath of the Wild, and B, allow the kingdom to start rebuilding and get back to where it belongs much sooner than in Breath of the Wild. Of course, this is all very theoretical and idea based, but I truly believe that if this Link had died in this very moment instead of being brought to the Shrine of Resurrection, allowing a new Link to be born soon after these events, that Hyrule would get back to its former glory much sooner than we saw. Meaning, Link dying in Breath of the Wild would have, or could have, been helpful. Thanks a ton for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a like to share the video to many more Zelda fanatics like yourself, and also consider subscribing for more Zelda content. What did you think of this theory / idea? It's definitely a bit out there, I know, but do you agree or have any thoughts of your own? Leave a comment below and look out for my replies. As always, a huge thank you goes out to all of my channel supporters across Patreon and YouTube. You guys are what helps me in making these videos a reality, so thank you as always. And if you yourself would like to be a part of bringing in the weekly videos and more, then consider supporting on either Patreon or YouTube. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.